This is why you died.
Welcome, everyone, to This Is Why You Died, a brand new horror podcast where we analyze and break down horror movies, classic and obscure, for your listening enjoyment. My name is Sir Ian Dangerous, and I am joined, as always, by Ryan Ross Live and Dan March of Madness, one of whom is a horror aficionado like myself, and one of whom is, let's say he's learning. He's learning, right, Ryan? You're learning about horror movies as we go here.
Charged.
How are you boys doing tonight?
Doing well. I'm doing well. Very excited to talk about this movie.
I'm excited. I didn't know what to think going into this one, and so I'm excited to dig into it with you guys.
Well, before we get to the movie, I've got to ask. So yesterday was the greatest day of the year, Halloween. We're in All Saints Day today. Tomorrow, a very special day for LA, where we're all currently residing, which is Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. Big day tomorrow. But Halloween has passed us by officially. Sadly, I would play violins now if I had one. Boys, how was your Halloween? What did you guys get up to?
Halloween, I had to travel into work to film the costume contest and put together a little recap video. But then I broke away a little early so I could go be with the girls and trick or treat, because that's actually really fun and like nostalgic to like be now the dad with the kids and like have the tables turn, and like you feel like you're going back in time of like, oh, I remember doing this as a kid and how fun it was.
Is it different now? Like, what's different now? Because I'm not a dad. I have a dog.
Yeah.
But like, what's the
That's a
difference?
dad.
What's the difference? I don't want to be one of those guys like, I have a fur baby. No, how is
That's
it?
fair.
How is it different? How is it different now when you're out there trick or treating?
It's actually like it feels like you get to do it all over again for the first time, because you're experiencing it through their eyes. So you get to like all the things that you remember as a kid of like, oh, I remember people scaring me that way. I remember like trick-or-treating this way and what you have to do and say. I think it's just like, it's kind of reliving it in a new way, and it's enjoying it in a new way. You know, it's like going back in time, but then being able to see it with fresh eyes because you're seeing it through your kids' eyes.
That's
so
awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Well, you gotta, Dan, you also gotta tell him I saw your Instagram post. You gotta tell him what you dressed up as, because his kids picked their costumes.
Yeah, so the girls were like, you have to have a couple's costume. So my wife's pretty crafty, and so she crafted us. I don't know if the parents out there know Blippi and Mika is basically kind of like the new generation of Pee-wee's Playhouse. But I was Blippi and my wife was Mika, and we'll start up an Instagram very soon, and I'll throw up the image so that everybody can kind of laugh at that. But it was fun, and you know, I was recognized. A lot of kids were starstruck because they really thought I was Blippi. They're like, "Oh my god,
It's really Blippi." What's it?
They were starstruck, and Ian's over here going, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Absolutely no. You could be like, I was Jibbity Jap and she was Bloopity Blue, and I was like, oh yeah, totally. I know that's my favorite Skibbity Toilet. Yeah, I totally know what you're talking. That's the only thing I know. So wait a minute. So what were your kids?
Oh, they were princesses. They were Disney princesses. So
of course.
That was
so
kinda,
wait.
yeah.
I have to ask though, before I find out what Ryan did yesterday. What was the most constant costume that you saw? I mean, obviously, first, I want to know what like the most the modern costume you saw, like, you know, Deadpool, Wolverine, whatever, and then what classic horror icon is still represented the most out there? I've got to know.
Okay, so I would say a lot of common ones I saw were Inside Out emotions. So it was either joy, or a lot of people really liked being anxiety. So I saw a lot of anxieties out there. So like
that
Inside
tracks,
Out,
honestly.
That tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was a lot of that, and you know, it's really crazy because I'm blown away because I went to my daughter's. She's in kindergarten, but we went to her parade too, and I was telling my wife, I was like, it's crazy that like these kids are still wearing stuff that I wore when I was trick-or-treating. Like there was still Ninja Turtles, there was still Spider-Man, there was still Batman. It was like, it just shows that like those staying power of those really good characters that we even grew up on are even here. Like there's still Ninja Turtles. Like there's still like there was a bunch of kids that are still Ninja Turtles, and that's what I grew up on. So it's just crazy.
I mean,
But
the
so-
cynic in me is like, oh, the marketing departments of those particular companies are really good at getting kids back into
True.
the IP.
Hey,
That's true.
Well, Seth Rogen released that animated movie of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles recently. So
That was
I think
really
that's
good,
a big part
by
of
the
it.
way. But so, anyways, that was yes. Well, it was actually. You ready? Going back to episode 1, Ghostface. I saw so many Ghostface. There was like, and it just like the silver Ghostface. There was like white with blood on it. There was just like a big variety, but there was a lot of Ghostfaces this Halloween that I saw. Kids
You
really
answered
like
it.
Ghostface.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
What killer was the number one represented? I was going to guess Ghostface because even my 9-year-old niece, who has never, of course, seen a Scream movie, and who actually wanted to be Voldemort for Halloween, but they couldn't find the costume, so she's like, "I'll just be the Scream with the bloody mask." So
Wow.
apparently represented. Ryan, what about you, my friend? What did you get up to for the old All Hallows Eve?
So this last weekend, I had a Halloween party with some friends, which was a good time. We try and do one every year, get a tradition in. So that's always fun. We set up some Pong in the garage, and we have Scooby-Doo on the TV, and decorate the whole house with spooky things. I made a little charcuterie board with I made it look like a hand with like prosciutto wrapped around cheese sticks. So that was fun. And then yesterday, because Halloween was on a Thursday this year, and Thursday's a rough day for a holiday, and like our neighborhood doesn't have a lot of trick-or-treaters because we have a gate that leads to like our complex. So we decided that as a joke, we would dress up in our Halloween costumes, which for the nerds out there, I went as Gale from Gale of Waterdeep from Baldur's Gate, and my girlfriend went as Shadowheart. Nerd. But we dressed up in our costumes, and we took down our Halloween decorations and put up our Christmas decorations.
What?
On stream.
What?
Already? For that exact reaction. Well, keep in mind, we spent half of December not in LA, so we don't get to enjoy our decorations very much in general. So we got to lean into both. We got to make the gag of it and have fun with the gag of it, but then also now we get to actually enjoy our decorated house for a little bit as well. So
I'm so mad. I'm so mad that you already put up Christmas decorations.
I knew you would be.
Understand your excuse, and I hear you, but it just makes me want to tell you that I actually broke Gale's heart in Baldur's Gate 3, and now I'm not mad about it anymore. I'm glad I broke your heart. It's worth it.
I'm just glad you know who that is.
I played the crap out of that game because I'm a nerd.
It's so good.
I'm a nerd.
The way-
It's so good.
The way that Ian doesn't have any idea who Blippi is, I'm
None.
not understanding any of the words that you guys are saying right now.
Yeah.
Either. I'm not a-
Honestly, now you guys know how I feel.
We all.
Now you know how I feel every episode.
I will never know how you feel. And speaking of how you feel, I actually want to get into the show here. Really quickly, my Halloween was boring. I finished.
Aw.
I finished up the last episode of my horror marathon, Horror Palooza, another
Congrats. I
podcast,
can't believe you did it.
which
I
you
can't
can
believe
find.
did it.
I made it through all 31 movies, one for every day of October. That's my big October thing. But you know, we were just talking about Ryan and his experience with these horror movies. This is actually a fun one this week because the way this show works, if you're just joining us for this episode, is we all draw prompts from our various bucket-like receptacles, and then we have to choose a movie based on that prompt, and everyone's got to watch that movie. And I picked the prompt Robert Englund. But that being said, I can't get into that movie that I picked for that. We're going to have to get into that in a second because we forgot to do something last episode. And that was after we talk about the movie, we've got to draw a new prompt. And Dan, last episode, we did Scream, which was a great conversation, a lot of fun. So if you guys haven't listened to that, please go check it out. But
based off of black and white as his prompt.
His prompt is black and white. He went for Scream. But that means you need to draw a new prompt. So Dan, if you would,
All
please
right.
grab your
Got my bucket.
pumpkin
Shaking
bucket
it up.
there. But did you use
Pumpkin
that for
bucket.
trick-or-treating last night?
I did not. I kept it safe because it had all the words in it. Didn't want to
Can't
lose
lose.
them. Can't lose
Can't
them.
lose the prompts.
All right, here we go. I'm choosing it. So, okay, so here's just one explanation. I'm going to read the prompt. Do I need to make the choice right away?
Absolutely not.
or-
You are going to keep
No,
us
no,
all
no.
in suspense
Gotcha.
until the episode before the episode that we are going to watch this, and then you tell us and we have to go watch the movie. That's how the
All
show
right.
works.
So you'll
Okay,
reveal
here we
at the end
go.
of my pick.
Oh my gosh, this Oh, this is a good one. This is a great one, actually. You ready for it? It's one word. It's locked.
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 I like that.
Wow.
That's a fun one.
Shoo, man, there's lots of ways to go.
You're going to
Where
have
can
to
you go?
marinate on that one. I'm very excited to hear what you decide to pick, but you've got time to come to that decision.
Yep.
So we will wait and hear what you decide to pick as your movie for Locked. All right.
So our active prompts are locked and bugged.
Those
on the two
those
sitting.
those are the ones that we have going right now, and the one that we're cashing in on this episode is Robert Englund. And obviously the easy choice for me would have been to pick any of the Freddy Krueger movies because he is, of course, the actor who played Freddy Krueger, just so you know, Ryan. But
I'm aware of that one.
But
Don't condescend to me.
I'm just making sure. But I went instead for an 80s movie that he directed in between Nightmare on Elm Street, I believe 3 and 4 was when he directed it. I have to double check myself on that. It's from 1988. I believe it's between Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4. It might be between 4 and 5, but somewhere around there, he directed a little movie called 976 Evil.
Wow.
And it was the first movie he ever directed. And I wanted you guys to see it because it is a B movie among B movies.
What a movie it was.
What a movie.
Magnificent. It's starring Stephen Jeffries, who I think most people know from Fright Night. He was Evil Ed in Fright Night. Patrick O'Brien plays nominally the other main character, but Patrick O'Brien never really did much after this, and it's too bad because he's not bad. And then also famously Sandy Dennis, Academy Award winning actress. Sandy Dennis is in this playing Stephen Jeffries' character's mother, and also Leslie Dean, who was a Cowboys cheerleader and was also in Freddy's Dead, a Nightmare on Elm Street movie after this. Coincidentally, actually, Robert Englund did not get her that job. She had to audition for it. She was also in this movie, too. So, written by Brian Helgeland, who would go on to write such wonderful movies as A Knight's Tale, L.A. Confidential, Mystic
No way. What? No way.
Hold up.
He wrote this movie alongside Rhett Topham, who wrote some Freddy's Nightmares for TV, including the Cabin Fever episode, which Robert Englund also directed and also starred Leslie Dean. So yeah, this movie's got a pedigree. Academy Award-winning actresses. You have famous screenwriters who wrote this.
You just blew my mind with the fact that the writer wrote Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
That's
same guy.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Okay, Knight's Tale, but you missed over L.A. Confidential, which was like when it came out, was like everybody was like, "This is the best."
Why I haven't seen L.A. Confidential.
But didn't it win for writing? Didn't it win for? I thought it
might have been nominated. I have to look it up.
I thought it like swept that year. I just remember that. I remember seeing that movie. I was like, okay, I don't get the hype, but it did do really well when it came out.
Maybe you did get the hype. You didn't get the hype. Hold on, sorry. I got stuck. I mean,
it's a great movie. I was like, you know.
All right, we're not here to talk about police procedurals like LA Confidential, noirs, but we are here to talk about 976 Evil, which I forced you to watch. Neither of you had ever seen it before.
I never heard of it.
That's not surprising, Ryan.
You know, I'm kind of in the same boat as Ryan. I hadn't heard of it until I saw the cover, and then that's what clicked. I was like, okay, I do kind of remember seeing the cover in VHS stores like as a kid, but I never saw the movie.
And you are correct. Brian Helgeland is also an Academy Award winner for LA Confidential.
Yeah.
So 2 Academy Award winners associated with 976 Evil.
Could have fooled me.
It was his first screenplay.
Okay.
But yeah, so 976 Evil, what did you guys think when I first told you about this? You saw the cover, you maybe read something about it. What were your thoughts going into this? And then we're going to get into the actual movie and what you thought of it while watching it.
You know, honestly, it's one of those movies that it grew on me as I watched it. So the first 20 minutes, I was like, this what the hell is it? What am I watching? What is this movie? Even like that weird opening sequence that felt like I was watching like Billie Jean or like a Michael Jackson music video. I was like, what? This is a very strange opening. But as the story progressed and as things started to change and get weirder and like wilder and more fantastical, I kind of started really digging it and just had to put aside the unbelievableness of the B movie aspect of some of these things. But overall, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'd like watch it again, like as like a choice, be like, let's put this one on. I don't know. It's not, but I didn't, it was not like my favorite of the 80s cheesy movies, but it was a fun watch, and it got kind of really crazy. There's some nasty scenes that I had to like look away. I was like, what are they doing with the cats? These cats. Ugh.
Actually, and it's funny because Sandy Dennis was a cat lady. She was a massive cat lady. So that was a bit of reality, was her love for cats.
Yeah, that scene was hard to watch. Whoa.
So I was wondering what your thoughts were before, but we can happily get into what our thoughts were watching it. So Ryan, what were your thoughts watching through the movie? Obviously, have you ever seen a movie like this before?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I had never seen, I guess, a direct horror story like this. But it reminds me a lot of like the old made for TV movies in some ways, that I think it kind of shares some of the similarities. Coming into it, I'd never heard of it. You had kind of hinted when you chose that this was kind of like a cult following, like smaller, lesser known, like you were going kind of out of the ballpark of Robert Englund expectations.
It's a deep cut. Yeah. It's a deep cut. Yeah.
And so like I kind of expected it to be not so great, because generally like if it were great, then more people would be talking about it. But honestly, to Dan's point as well, the beginning threw me. I was watching and I was like, this movie isn't going anywhere. Like nothing's happening in the scenes.
Why are
the writing's horrendous.
Why is this guy running around?
I mean, well, like actually the phone's ringing was one of the more interesting parts, but I mean, even past that, like we're basically just following this high schooler around for like 20 minutes doing basically nothing of import. And like, I was like, when does the movie start? But I will say, I think about the time that we get to him like performing the ritual and accidentally killing the other girlfriend, that's when I actually got interested. And like, I think that the movie started to kind of roll for me after that. And yeah, the effects were terrible. The makeup was bad. Like there was definitely elements of that. I was like, like this, it was dated and limited in its own way that like kind of took you out of it consistently. But the story itself wasn't bad once it got past that. Like I actually was enjoying the story. It was mostly like the limitations of like the acting not being so great and the effects being really bad.
Well,
that I was like pulling me out consistently.
I was kind of on the other side of the coin. I was a bit impressed with Hoax's whole transformation throughout the film, as like he allowed the thing to take him over, like as his body changed and stuff. Like I was like that actually didn't look so bad, and I was kind of digging that aspect of it. But
really, I was like, man, they could have done so much better.
I don't know. I was like, man, I don't know. What year was this?
Like
80 what?
The scene where he's like pulling.
Yeah.
The scene that he like pulls and it's like one strand of hair is longer, and we're like, why is that important? And then we get later and it's like he's got strandy hair now, and you're like, oh, that was supposed to be part of the demon transformation. Like I was like, okay, like we could have gone a little further.
So actually, and it's funny to hear you guys disagree on the makeup. So makeup on this was done, special effects makeup was done by Kevin Yeager, who has done such movies as Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, Bride of Chucky, Face Off, Sleepy Hollow, the Tim Burton one. Like he's actually like a fairly well regarded makeup guy. Personally, I think the makeup effects, so for people who have not watched the movie, who don't care about spoilers, who are just tuning in to us now and finding out about this movie. Spoiler alert, a little late. But no, this movie is about a evil, basically like a toll number. Back in the 80s, you had like these premium telephone numbers you could call, and it would charge you a little bit more. And you'd like in this case, it would be like a pre-recorded message. It would get like a horoscope. Well, in this case, it's a horror scope that you're calling up, and it's actually Satan on the other line, and you can sell your soul to him in a way, make a Faustian bargain. I'll do some naughty things and get power. But so it's a bit of a Goonie movie. And Satan's also played by Robert Picardo. Applause for him if you guys have ever watched Star Trek Voyager or The Howling or yeah, I'm getting good blank stares over here.
No, but I thought that was Robert Englund. I thought that was him.
Robert Picardo, the guy with the runny nose.
Mark Dark or whatever.
Mark Dark.
That guy. Oh yes, that guy.
Ryan, you were paying
Never
attention.
mind.
It's awesome.
I apply myself here. I may be uneducated, but that doesn't mean I can't pay attention.
But I thought the effects when there's a younger guy like who's kind of a nerd and he's kind of an outcast and he's a bit of a weirdo, lives with his mom, his crazy cat lady, super religious mom, and he has his cousin Spike, who's the high school bad guy, but who's also kind of our lead guy. He's got a heart of gold, and he gets his
twist felt a little on the nose to me.
That felt on the nose to you?
Just the fact that they're like, oh, like they set it up at the beginning, right? Like to your point, like he's the bad boy of the school. Like he's the first one to call the number. They basically set it up like, oh, like the bad boy's going to turn bad. And then the twist is that the goody two-shoes cousin is the one who ends up getting corrupted and tainted. And the bad boy has to be the one to save the day, which like is a cool twist. And I don't think it was done poorly, but it was a little ham-handed, I think, in its execution.
This whole movie is ham-handed. What about this
I
setup?
agree with you.
And this execution is not ham. I mean, for me, raised on EC Comics, raised on Twilight Zone and Outer Limits, like this felt kind of like a cousin to that. For me, which of course is very comic booky, it's very ham-handed. It's very, characters drawn with huge, broad strokes. Sandy Dennis as the religious mom is just she's as crazy religious mom as you could possibly be. But so that's kind of what I really want to get into with this is how did it play? Part of it is this is also really a time capsule movie. Not only just the concept of having a 976 number that you call to access the powers of the Dark Lord, but also just the look of it, the graffiti, the fact that these bullies are beating up the young kids because they're bored as much as anything else. And they got nothing else to do than beat this kid up and like kick a dumpster all night. Because we don't, before video games, before
where
cell
is this
phones.
taking place at, this movie? Where is it supposed to be?
I think they say at one point, but I don't know if it's really important.
It's just like, it's like the entire town is like gone to shit. It's just like graffiti everywhere. Nothing is nice. It's just like everywhere. It's just a mess.
I know
it says a small Californian college town.
I have some bad news for you guys. As someone who's a little older than you, the 80s was a little bit that way in some parts. This actually, a lot of this reminds me of my junior high and high school.
Wow.
Like just not the coding of graffiti that they had on the walls in the bathroom, but certainly like the general kind of seediness. It's overdone. It's cartoony. But I get nostalgic when I watch this movie for that era.
I do have to ask if that's the case. Like, I can buy into everything, but is it believable that there was like one bathroom that no adults paid any attention to?
Yes,
that they could just.
Yes.
Wild
and in addition, okay, you know how she at the one point the girlfriend is at home and there's the oven and she lights it by throwing a lit match into it, like she's leaves the gas on. Oh yeah.
I mean, well, that I believed. Like, that totally, like, camp stoves still work that way in some ways. But, like, having this basically, like, condemned bathroom, essentially, that not only is in the state that it was in, but then just no responsible adult party at any point paid any attention to. Wild.
I'm Gen X, man. When our parents would let us go when the sun came up, and you knew it was time to come home when the streetlights came on. They didn't know where you were.
The principal shows up at the house and knows the name of the kid, and there's one condemned bathroom. That's just
the hot teacher, the random hot teacher.
Yeah. Whose sole purpose in the movie is that one scene.
She had two scenes, but yeah.
Oh, two scenes.
She had to save the guy.
She bonds with the journalist.
She had to drive up at the right time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, I agree. It is a Goonie movie. It's definitely Goonie. It is a B movie through and through, but it's for me, it's actually got some redeeming qualities. First of all,
It does.
First of all, so Robert Englund has said he's actually kind of frustrated with it because it was taken away from him in post. He didn't edit it. Someone from the studio edited it. And the studio were the ones who had the final say. He actually wanted more character development, which might have slowed it down for you guys, but also might have given more reason to care about these people. He said his power is in casting and in art direction, not in special effects and not in arguing with the studio afterwards. And honestly, I think the strengths of the movie are the look. Like, it looks pretty good. The colors are nice. I like some of the camera, the camera work. And the acting is shockingly good for how pulpy and kind of cheesy a lot of the stuff they're doing is. Across the board, the acting is naturalistic a lot of the time. I'm not mad at a lot of the stuff that they do. For some really kind of goony stuff, all these actors, especially the leads, I think are very strong. And I'm curious what you guys think about that.
To touch upon the editing, man, that last act, they just stretched scenes out. Like, they were like, we have to fill this hour and a half. Because it was just like long takes of just him just looking around a room and not seeing anything and making it. And it was just like, okay, come on, cut to something else. And it was just like, it just
the
felt
shot
like
that I noticed that was him walking down the stairs in the house. He was on that staircase for an eternity, it felt
For
like.
me, it was Hot Teacher Explores the House. She was exploring that damn frozen house forever. But that definitely, I agree. I think that the editing and the pacing is the biggest fault of the movie.
It was, but I didn't think that, like, I felt like everything was moving decently well. It just felt like that third act that they just seemed like they just didn't have enough to kind of make it what it was. And instead of what I think that they thought was building tension was really just kind of annoying. You know, it's like, just get down the stairs already. Like, that one thing is like, just go already, and you're not there yet. It was just, that was a bit frustrating. Just like that. But yeah, I think other than that, I think that, like you said, like the acting was surprisingly, it got kind of better. There was some reactions that were like highly unbelievable. Like, to the point where I was like, okay, like the guy, like, for instance, spoiler alert, but like when the main bully guy gets his hand cut off and then he's immediately just kind of okay to talk normally.
Yeah,
Seconds
I caught that
later,
too.
I was like, come on, man, like act a little bit more upset about your hand being severed off. But
He's trying to survive at this point. The adrenaline's kicked in. He's not feeling a thing. He's just trying to stay alive. He's got a demon coming after him. By the way,
right, well,
you would think you would stagger a bit more if your
A little
hand was
bit.
just cut off.
that's
A
the
little
greatest
bit.
moment in the movie is when Hoax comes in after killing the two guys and he goes, can I get it? And I start off with a pair of hearts, and he throws the two beating hearts
That's
on the
good.
table.
That was a good line.
It's
That was a good line.
there's good moments in this movie. I wanted to watch this movie because, you know, Dan, you had a classic movie last time that we were discussing, and spoiler alert, Ryan's got a classic movie that we're going to be doing next, which we'll reveal at the end of this show. Sandwiched in between these two classics, I wanted to get another flavor of horror, something where, you know, there is a very honorable history of horror that is, I don't know what you call it, amateur, but it's a little bit, it's not as glossy, it's not as classic, but there's still like nuggets of quality that you can find in it. And for me, 976 Evil is not a classic, but it is, for me, a lot of fun to watch. This is a movie I put on and I kind of go, oh, this is very 80s. This reminds me a lot of other 80s horror movies of the time, like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, like the Jason movies, like the tons and tons. What's the documentary they're doing, In Search of Darkness, right now, where they review all the 80s movies? And there's 3 episodes that are like 5 hours long, just listing all of the amazing 80s horrors movies. So this, for me, 976 Evil absolutely falls into that category, and it's better than so many of those ones that I've seen from the 80s that I wanted to introduce this to you guys, especially because it does have such a pedigree on so many levels. The director, the writer, the actors who are in it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think for me, if I were to sum this movie up, it felt like it's almost like a geode in the sense that like it has some charm underneath it, but it's really rough around the edges.
Yeah.
And I think that like if it's one of those things that like if it were polished properly, if it wasn't like whether that was the studio, whether that was just the limitations of when it was made, whatever, like if it were, I do think that like it could be potentially like remade into something really cool, like especially with modern effects. I think that there's a lot of scenes in this movie that would benefit from like some modern transformational capabilities that you couldn't do back then. But like the story itself, once it actually gets rolling, is pretty good. And like there's entertaining moments throughout the film that I think merit like that merit the story and merit the watch. The problem I think overall for me is that there's a lot of just chaff. Like to Dan's point about the medley at the beginning, and then also the scene with like the random woman that gets the phone call that has nothing to do with anything else in the movie. Like those don't add anything. And like I kept expecting that opening montage to be like tied into of like, what were we watching? Like, why did that happen? Never explained. The woman doesn't matter. Like when Spike goes to see the priest and then like, they're like, oh, the service ended a bit ago. And it's like, I prayed the devil away. I was like, oh, this seems like it's going to be important. And then it's just over.
Yeah,
and then
that's true.
in the next scene, he shows up with a gun. I thought, based off of the size of the gun, just speculatively, I thought it was a squirt gun with holy water. And I thought that he was going to spray the demon with holy water that he got from the church, and that was going to be some big moment. And it's just a gun, and he just gets shot in the face, and then he's a demon, so it doesn't matter. And I was like there were so many things like that was like, it could have been really cool, it could have been great, or they could have done something with it that they just didn't. But then the main story still has a charm to it. And like the progression of events is still compelling and you get carried along as it advances. I'm torn over the thing. I feel like it could have been great. And at best, it's pretty good is kind of where it feels.
I'll take that. This is exactly the kind of thing I wanted to engender in you. Yes. You see the good in it. Yes. Yeah. And because you're right. I think this is a concept that, I mean, it's Faust, it's not like it's a new concept, but the way that they executed in this, like there's a lot of good moments. There's a lot of good character dynamics in this, the way that they play off of each other. And part of that is the acting, which I said I liked so much. But the concept of this, of Satan working through technology, not new, but it's dated now, just like the movies that use technology as some sort of spooky thing now, like Unfriended or Friend Request or any of those movies. What was it? Fear.com.
Yeah. Well, what was that? Who Done It? On Netflix, where it's like the somebody steals somebody's identity and all the dating profiles. It's really good. God, what's the name of that?
You got me. But the bottom line is the idea of technology being evil or technology enabling evil is certainly something that I think has persisted. I don't know if this particular movie is ripe for a remake specifically, but it's certainly a concept that I think is valid. And a lot of the things in this movie are nostalgic and they are very dated, but there's some things I think are still valid. So what you got there, Ryan?
The series is Clickbait.
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 Oh,
it's a whodunit mystery murder thriller thing on Netflix. Very good.
And that might play in, what is it now? It's been 24, 34. I guess it's so hard to do the math. 36 years since this movie. In 36 years, how's Clickbait going to play? Right?
Yeah.
How's Unfriended going to play?
Yeah.
And my question here, and this is for both you guys, how did this play to you? Now, I know you look back at it and say like, oh, it's the 80s or whatever, but like, is this something that still plays at all, or is it just so dated that it's the same thing as watching like a movie from the 50s or the 40s?
I mean, for me, I don't know if it really I don't know if it kept up. Like it does feel dated. It feels like it's in that time capsule for me. So like, it's not like some movies in the past that you can rewatch, like, wow, this kind of, you can relate you can relate what they were saying in the sci-fi film that was made in the 80s to what's going on here now in our time, but it does feel kind of like, which I think is not a bad thing. I think it was kind of capturing that sort of like very 80s element moment in time. Like it was kind of embracing that, the way that Scream can be kind of feel like it was embracing the cell phone, and the way that things are that you use the cell phone now are very different than, in the first one. I think that that's the same thing that's going on now here. It's like, it's embracing a technology that is now dated, unfortunately, but it's like, you tell any 12-year-old or 15 or 18-year-old about a 976 time, they'd be like, what, I don't even know what that is. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's just kind of stuck in that time. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but that's how I feel about it.
How does that even work? Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. What about you, Ryan?
That's odd to me because I disagree. But honestly, I think what I'm getting is it seems like you two really attach a lot of this identity to the specificity of the pay line, the 967 number element of this thing, which, like, for me, that era was gone by the time that I had access to phones. Like premium lines that you call didn't exist.
Have you ever used a rotary phone? I have to know. Rotary phone?
I have twice ever, I think. And the first time I definitely did it wrong. It's fascinating to me that you guys, like, the idea is partially married to this premium line aspect for you guys. Because for me, having never experienced something like that, like, yeah, the aesthetic is very 80s. The setting is very 80s. There's a lot of 80s elements in the movie. But coming from somebody who A, didn't live in the 80s, and B, never functioned with premium lines, I just basically paralleled this to, like, it's just a phone line that somebody could call. And, like, that separation, like, the story still feels very universal to me in the sense of, like, there are still bullies in schools, and there's still nerds in schools, and there's popular kids, and there's cool kids, and whatever. All of that still plays. Like, a nerd trying to impress people and, like, going to, whether it be making a phone call or going to a website or whatever, like, that's still very much believable to me in a sense of, like, somebody who would go to those lengths to do something like that. And really the only element that doesn't play is they're like, oh yeah, I went and talked to this call center. Call centers still exist. They're not exactly like that anymore, at least to my knowledge, but that's very easily adaptable into, like, a modern perspective of, like, it could just be a phone line or a website or whatever. Like, all of the core elements of the story and the concept and the progression still play, that you could still very much have this basically same story with a couple
tweaks to it. Yeah.
It's odd to me that, like, it came so dated to you guys, but I guess that's also just the nostalgic time capsule of it for you.
There is, and honestly, a part of it too, like I was saying, is I really identify with a lot of just visually, like you were saying, I can't believe there's no adults coming into the bathroom. Like, yeah. Like, adults didn't come into the bathroom. They didn't care. You go in the bathroom, you're going to get a swirly.
I'm going to say, I don't expect teachers to come into the bathroom at schools. That's not like something like, but it's just like one bathroom that's just completely, like, not
destroyed.
Yeah. Well, just, like, off the radar, I guess, of, like, it's not like teachers were, like, patrolling the bathrooms.
I like that that's, like, what you got hung up on, not the fact that there was a 17-year-old boy riding a Harley, smoking cigarettes like a chimney and drinking Jack Daniels like it was water. That part you were all like,
that is every 80s movie ever made. What do you mean? Why would that stand out to me?
That's why everyone from that era looks like they're 50 at 50 and we all look like we're 20 at 50. I don't know. It's
correct. Well, and plus we touched on, they were making him the bad boy. Like,
yes,
you gotta do that.
He was a bad boy. He was a naughty boy, but he wasn't steal the gloves.
Where Hoax comes up to him in his own little scooter and he's saying how he, like, bashed
that was
the
a
muffler.
good scene.
That whole scene was hilarious.
That was good.
And the falling at the end, like, crashing, he's like, I'm all right. Like, I was cracking up at that. That was really well done.
Yeah,
so
really it's little scene. There's a lot of good stuff in this movie. I'm glad you guys did not completely hate it. That is a relief. And this is probably going to be a running theme of me being like, don't hate it, guys. It's not that bad, I swear. So all right,
anything mainstream, the glass is right up his nose. But anything on the smaller following is like, guys, I have this thing and it's precious to me.
Because most things mainstream have they have all the assets to be able to make something excellent. They have no excuse.
That's super valid.
They have no excuse.
That's a great point.
They're trying their best, and then at the end it gets taken away from you and the studio edits it. You get what you get. But all right, so we have a tradition on this show, and that is that for every movie we watch, we got to figure out why someone died. So let's see, Dan, would you tell us why someone died in this movie?
Here's the thing. I was wondering what's the girlfriend's name?
The actress? Leslie Dean?
Yeah, the girl, is that her name? The girlfriend, the first girlfriend of
Susie?
Yeah, Susie.
Leslie Dean is Susie.
Okay, so Susie.
Leslie Dean in the 80s.
I'm just going to say that I don't think she should have eaten the second meal. She should not have heated up. She went to the pizza parlor. She ate like half a pizza. Then she got into the fight with the boys.
I didn't even think about that.
Then she went home and she ate and she heated up a whole other meal. And I just think that if maybe she just went to bed, I don't know, like she would have, maybe she wouldn't have to be there with the spiders. But I was like, why are you taking the time to eat a whole other meal? You just ate half a pizza with
she had athletic sex with a dude on some sort of weird rocking chair thing, and then had to run around a movie theater
office, or I don't know.
All I know is that was a sexy chair scene, I gotta say, but with the leather jacket and everything. Come on, yes, but then she was running around a movie theater waiting for her boyfriend to stop playing poker, and then she had to break up a fight. She had a big night. So, of course, she was hungry for a little bit of microwave tarantula pie.
I'm just saying that I think she might have died because she ate meal 2 of the night.
Are you?
To Ian's defense, she says when she gets mad, she eats. And she got mad. She was very mad after that fight,
That's right.
too.
See?
She needed more food.
Okay.
So she got mad.
It is a valid submission, though.
She got mad. That is why she died.
That was my submission. It might not be valid, I guess, but that was
No. It is valid. I said it's totally a valid submission.
Okay. You got hungry because you got mad. This is why you died. All right.
This is why you died. Okay, I think for me, the bullies are an easy one. That one's
you're a bully.
I can't sit on that.
Yeah.
Those were so dumb. But honestly, can we talk about the teacher and the principal teacher, whatever she is, that literally first off, she shows up and she rescued the journalist, and then the journalist guy is like, "Stay here. I need to do something." And then he goes off. He's gone for less than 3 minutes. And what does she do? She gets out of the car and she heads on in. And I'm like, doesn't follow directions, gets in the house, sees what's basically literally
hell.
A supernatural scene with demonic graffiti and all this stuff, doesn't leave, doesn't shut the door, doesn't go find the journalist. Nope. She walks right in, she investigates for far too long, and then she hears creepy calling upstairs from the child that she came to investigate in a house that's clearly completely antichristed, for lack of a better term.
It's hell. It's a projection of hell, which I thought was kind of cool. For once we had hell that was actually how it's described in the ancient biblical text as being a place of cold. If you read Dante, the bottom pit of hell is frozen. Hell is actually cold, not hot.
And the diner I did catch was named Dante's. I thought that was really cool.
Many, if you watch it carefully, there's so many devil references and Satan references in the back and evil in the background. There's all these kinds of little details.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, and then she hears in this literal hellscape, she hears a calling from upstairs from a faceless voice that she cannot see the person who's calling. And rather than once again taking the full opportunity to go out the front door that is 5 feet from her, heads on upstairs. And at that point, there's nothing that can be done to help you. No one can help you.
But she doesn't die.
That's why you
lives.
She did live.
She does all that.
Yeah,
she does all that, and she survives.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because they kind of skip over it because they're over the hellfisher, and then the hellfisher closes, and then they never really address
when
they address the journalist, but not really her.
Ian, when did Home Alone come out?
Oh God, around the same time, I want to say.
Yeah, because I felt that whole ending had this very Home Alone finale. similarity to it that I was like, did this come out before? Or
It was
after?
before. It was before Home Alone, and I think I can officially say, although I don't actually have the data to back me up on this, I can say with near certainty that Christopher Columbus did not source his ideas from 976 Evil for Home Alone. I'm not
sure, but
100% certain.
It had this whole calling of like, oh, these people out on the wire trying to escape from a house. It just
Also, the wire thing, like, you're like, sure, you can't jump from the window, but I'm telling you, if you hung from that wire and then let go, you'd maybe get a twisted ankle. Why in the world are you doing this, like, Cirque du Soleil act across the
army
street?
shimmy? I'm looking forward to this being a running thing on every show, is Ryan taking issue with, like, physics.
With dumb decisions. Dumb decisions.
No,
I have no patience for stupidity.
Satan calling you on a hotline, fine. Yeah, absolutely. Totally cool.
Totally fine.
Totally fine. But they're shimmying across a pole?
No, listen, suspension of disbelief for a story, totally believable. Like, humans being humans and not being able to just let themselves down from the second story without dying. There's so many other.
There's a hell fisher. This is going to become a separate.
Before that,
it's a hell fisher. That's why they didn't die.
Thing, totally.
They were doing the army shimmy. This is why they didn't die, because they were able to army shimmy over the pit of hell and escape.
I'm going to point out they make it halfway across the street before the hell fisher opens. They could have just gotten out the window, used the wire, and dropped down to the driveway.
I will point out that according to the actual movie, you had the PI fall from that equivalent height earlier, knocked the wind out of him for a good 5 minutes from higher than that.
Fair.
So
I will give
he
you
was
that.
not looking for round 2 of that, my friend. So I'm just going to say that.
Okay, Ian, well, what's your choice? Go ahead, Ryan.
After you.
Are you gonna? Okay, mine is fairly simple. Don't pick up the phone. You picked up the phone when Satan calls.
Yeah.
Don't answer. This is why you died, because you answered Satan's call, and all you have to do.
This sounds like a familiar point.
Let it ring. What's he gonna do? Let it ring more? Oh no, my phone's ringing. It's still.
This was Ryan's point in Scream of don't pick up the phone.
Don't pick up the phone.
But the Scream could still come after you.
They'll still come after you. In this one, Satan goes to voicemail. That's it. We're done here.
That's true. Also, can we talk about, like, the main bully? There's one weirdness that I just, again, in the weirdness of the movie, like, they go and they murder him in the one bathroom stall, and then it pans over all the other bathroom stalls, and the other toilet has a bunch of blood in it. That's like, it's supposed to signify the bully died, but, like, it's across the bathroom.
It backed up the blood all the way across the bathroom. That's how much blood there was. Also, his hand was also there too.
His hand was there, but if it was in the toilet, how did it get out?
I think we're nitpicking a movie that has way bigger things to nitpick.
I did like that ending shot of, like, pulling away from the violence, but knowing what was happening. But the leading up to it was like, okay, how many stalls? We're gonna watch all of them.
And a lot of stalls.
You're gonna hit them all.
And a lot of empty
So
stalls.
I personally think that, as you say, a lot of the technical aspects of the movie, the acting, it's underrated. Personally, I'm going to actually do a call here and say, let's actually all rate this movie 1 skull to 10 skulls, 10 being the best.
Ooh, skulls. I like a skull rating.
All right.
I am going to personally give this 7.5 skulls.
Wow.
We don't have a scale on this yet, because this is our second or third episode, so we don't have a scale. Yeah. We have no idea of how that's going to be, but trust me, 7.5 is pretty damn solid for a movie like 976 Evil. Dan, what about you?
Well,
Dan, after you.
Okay,
you're on the spot.
Then if you're at 7.5 and you really like it, then
I really like it for what it is. I really like it for what it is. Just to be clear, I mean, if you know,
your score. No, ignore his
my
not relevant. What's your score? I'm feeling 4. I'm feeling 4 skulls.
Oh,
that's what I'm feeling.
4. 4 is pretty brutal.
Ouch, damn.
I don't know. Maybe it was just, it wasn't hitting it for me. I think because of, like, where it should have been, like, the strongest, because it was like the actors were actually giving their all. I thought that the makeup was great, was like the editing just killed it. I was like getting so like it was obvious that they were just stretching this out just to stretch it out. And like you said, if that's the studio taking it over, then that makes total sense. Because you got just people like taking it over and taking it away from the actual artist who had the vision. So I'm like, blah.
Well, I gave it.
I think that's why it's frustrating.
All right, I gave it a 7.5. You gave it a 4. I'm looking forward to giving you one that I think is a one skull, or Ryan picking one accidentally when he gets the chance to pick one, and we watch a true one, and we're going to see how this changes. But all right, Ryan, it's your turn. 1 to 10 skulls, 9, 7, 6 evil. Where does it rank on your scale?
So my gut originally, when you said 1 to 10, said 6.5. That's where my first ballpark landed.
Ooh.
I think as I think about it, I'm going to give it 7 purely on the note, that like, if 6 is a D, right? And like 7's a C, like I'm giving it 7 on the fact that like the heart of the story was good. Like I actually enjoyed once it got rolling. It took way too long to get rolling, but like once things started actually happening in the movie, I started to enjoy the movie a little bit. And like, I was interested in seeing where it was going. I was consistently disappointed with where it went sometimes, but like, I liked the journey, and I was excited to be on the ride for a little bit. And that's enough for a passing grade, I think. I will give it a 7.
It's way more solid than I thought you were going to give. That's incredible. I'm happy to hear that. And happy that we all, so we have a 7.5, a 7, and a 4 for 9, 7, 6 evil. Well, very cool, guys. Thank you for checking out that movie with me. I guess it's time for us to come down to the last few things we have to do on this show, and that is, I need to pick a new prompt now because we did 9, 7, 6 evil. We got through it, and you guys didn't hate it. Well, Dan didn't love it, but While you're pulling it out, I'm surprised out of the three of us that Dan's the lowest score. That's something that you could have bet me money and I would not have predicted. It's something that as the show goes on, we're going to find out if this is something Dan's just an angry man who does not like giving high scores, or if he just really didn't like this movie, or where things are, or if you're really nice because you gave it a 7. Like I'm looking forward to going on this journey with you boys. And speaking of journeys, I have my beautiful little skull cup here that I'm going to pick my next prompt out of right now. I'm fishing around in there, trying to find something like intestines in a chest cavity, and I pulled it out.
Oh my.
Oh, this is a very general one. I've got a big choice ahead of me. Also one word, and my new prompt is mystery.
Oh. Ooh. Okay, we're getting very cross genre here, locked in mystery. Well, that means that now we've got two active prompts, which means I have to make my prompt inactive, and I think it's time for me to reveal my choice for bugs.
I think it is. Yes, your prompt was bugs, which is also a nice general one. You had a lot of places to go. So take us through your journey here, your mental journey on what made you decide to pick what you picked.
I'm not a big fan of bugs. And I was thinking about the fact that there's lots of horror movies that I'm sure could be like Fear Factor level of bugs.
976 Evil had a whole tarantula scene.
That was great,
that's true.
By the way. Pretty good.
I don't know a lot of movies that involve bugs directly, but I was when I was thinking of like, okay, what could I choose for this? The first image that popped into my mind, I mean, I realize now that I could have done, isn't Candyman like bee themed?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that until like right now.
Yep.
But like that didn't occur to me at the time. But the very first image that I thought about that screamed horror to me was the poster for Silence of the Lambs with the moth over the mouth. And so, considering that I have never seen Silence of the Lambs, we will be watching Silence of the Lambs for the next episode.
Yes.
Such good news when you picked that. As an all-time classic. Good. One of the most important movies ever made.
I am very excited. Honestly, like also having never seen it, I'm a huge fan of Anthony Hopkins because I'm gonna give a little side story to wrap up this episode for us. I used to work as a PA, and I worked on season 2 of Westworld. And my very first day as a PA was up on the Disney Ranch, and Anthony Hopkins was. I haven't seen Westworld, but I know he's a prominent character in the show, and he was on set for the day that I was shooting. And of course, on your first day as PA, you don't have almost any responsibility. You're on the edges of set. You're making sure people are quiet when you're filming. You're not letting people come and go. But at one point, he walked by. It was a sunny day. He was in the full trencher. It was like 100 degrees, very warm. They had umbrellas for the actors to keep them in the shade, and they usually had PAs hold them for the actors. He refused to have a PA hold it for him and was holding it himself. And at one point, being very Anthony Hopkins, he closed his umbrella and he started kind of twirling it and like kicking like very Broadway, because that he's a multi-talented like musical dude. And I made a joke while he was walking by of like, oh, it's Dancing in the Rain Westworld edition, which caught his attention. And he walked over to me and he proffered his hand and he said, "Hi, I'm Tony. Nice to meet you. What's your name?" And I died. My soul left my body. And I said, "Hi, sir. My name's Ryan. It's so wonderful to meet you." And he goes, "How long have you been with us?" I was like, "This is my first day." He goes, "Well, Ryan, welcome to set." And then he went on his way. And I was like, this is the most amazing moment of my life. But then what made it crazier was a few hours later, it's like 7:30. He's in his 90s, I think. Like, we're wrapping up.
What?
He's not in his... Okay, go
Fair
ahead.
way.
What is it? He's really old. He's like 80, isn't he? Like Anthony Hopkins' age. He's 86. I'm not that far off.
Okay.
You guys
Wow, he's
scoffed. 86 is close. He's
Wow.
86.
That's
So this would have been,
incredible.
he would have been, at the time, he would have been about 80.
Okay.
It's only a decade
and-
that you're off, but yeah.
Okay, 86 is within 4 years of 90.
Okay, so...
But point is, it's the end of the day. It's like 7:30. He's old, so they got the shot. He's like, 80, even 80 is very old. And 7 is late for an
You're
8-year-old.
so young.
Point is, they're like, they have the last shot. He's like, "Hey, did we get it?" They're like, "Yes, sir, we did." And he's like, "Okay, then I'm going home." And when Sir Anthony Hopkins says that he's going home, he's going home. So he goes and shakes hands with everybody and the directors and whatever. And I'm way off. I'm like probably a block away from the guy.
I have to know, did he actually say when Sir Anthony Hopkins says he's going home, he's going home?
No, but I mean, like, that was just the vibe of like, he was like, basically, "Did we get it?" And they're like, "Yes, so we did." And he's like, "Then I'm leaving." And everyone was like, "All right, we're wrapping up. This is moving on to the next shot." Like, Sir Anthony Hopkins is done for
Tony
the day.
wants
like
to
that
go.
vibe was prevalent.
Tony wants home.
Precisely. And so, so he says goodbye to all the important people, and then he's walking away, and he sees me, and he raises his hand. Oh, and he also, I forgot, in the first meeting, he asked me what I was doing for the weekend. I was going on a camping trip with my family. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going camping. I'm new to LA." He's like, "I hope you have fun." Like, he was very kind in the first interaction. The second interaction, it's 6 hours later. There's no reason for him to remember anything about me. I'm this random kid on the set that's been there for half a day. He catches my eye. He raises his hand. He goes, "Good evening, Ryan. Have a good camping trip with your family."
Wow.
And I was like, "Good evening, sir. Pleasure to meet you." Oh my God. Huge fan of the man. Very excited to watch. I know it's one of his signature roles.
Well, and you say that now, and then once you see him in Silence of the Lambs, we'll see if you still have such a glowing opinion of him.
That's true. That's true.
Once you're seeing him in your nightmares, sipping on a glass of Chianti. So as we wrap up this show, thank you guys very much for joining us today. We appreciate you guys sitting through us discussing 976 Evil. Come back next episode when we will be discussing Ryan's choice, Silence of the Lambs. I'm very much looking forward to talking about that one. I'm so excited.
Me too.
So thank you guys very much for joining us. For Dan Marcia, for Ryan Ross live, I am Sir Ian Dangerous. We will see you next time on This Is Why You Die.